that are not related to the business and operations of the board shall be notified that such comments are irrelevant to the board and will not be allowed. Moreover, an individual who continues to refuse to adhere to public participation rules or continues to act in an abusive or obscene manner that rises to the level of disorderly conduct or breach of the peace may be removed from the board meeting or asked to leave on their own. Individuals who are in violation of the public participation rules will be provided a warning upon any violation of the public participation rules. If the individual continues to violate public participation rules or argues regarding whether they are violating the rules, the individual will be provided a second warning. If the individual continues to violate the public participation rules and do not adhere to the directives after the second warning, law enforcement will be asked to have you leave the meeting. And one thing I think sometimes gets missed that's I think a simple thing to follow is that when people address the board, please tell us your opinions of district business. Please refrain from telling us what you think of what other people in the room think. And I think that allows for everyone to be treated with respect. I think that's very important. And no one has been immune from this. And that would be something I think just best to be not part of our meetings. Just tell us what you think about topics and not what you think about other people, what they think. And that's it. I think we're good.
Thank you, Mr. Rivers.
More regulation.
First speaker is Mark Emmerling. And the topic you have on here, we're not going to talk about. Okay? You have something about the school?
This is absolutely about the school. This talks about censorship that's been going on for a very long time. I find it quite interesting. The people that are for exposing children to pornography call those that are opposed to these books Nazi book burners. We are not for burning these books. We just don't want our children exposed to these books. If anyone is promoting Nazi-like censorship, it is this board. As a few examples, limiting free speech, including religious, which you've done, cutting speaking time from 5 minutes to 3, hiding information from citizens even when this information was FOIA'd, allowing no opportunity to discuss these issues openly. Note, there's one board member that has made gestures towards open dialogue, which I commend. Moving speakers to the back of the room and moving your lawyer to the very middle of the board. For what purpose, I don't know. Mandates during COVID, masking, stay home to learn. You see the effects of limiting free speech in the aftermath of COVID, when doctors and nurses were not allowed to speak freely. Not only were they not allowed to speak, many lost their jobs and livelihood and were later proven to be absolutely correct. But I guess you gotta do what you gotta do when you have an agenda, just like this board. You will all give an account for your actions, if not in this life, for sure in the next. You will answer for what you have done or allowed to be done to these little children.
Thank you for your comments. Next speaker is Rita Zaleski.
I was going to reserve my comments till the next meeting, but I do have a question. On the agenda tonight, where G, it says general consent agenda, where we have A through E. I don't recall us having that at all this evening, because I actually had looked up prior to coming what GASB was, and I was interested in hearing what those were about, so I was going to question why we had skipped it.
No, it was not skipped. Consent agenda is just what it is.
So we don't, that's not
You don't read each item on the consent agenda. It's taken as a whole.
Was that done on June 3rd then? Because looking So are these things that were covered on June 3rd in that agenda?
Well, those are the minutes you're talking about. Those are published.
Okay, could you better
Okay, does
explain that?
take care of it?
No, it doesn't.
Okay, well, you'll have to get with us afterwards, okay?
Sure.
When you walk out on them? Okay.
Thank you.
Afterward, when you walk out.
Next speaker is Hassan.
Good afternoon, Ken. How you doing? Chair, I just want to ask you a couple of questions. Gentleman over there, sitting on the hall, right there, Mr. Chair, addressed that you guys spoke in the back. Did you guys take recess, or did you guys go into a closed session? Thank you for sitting there and violating the Open Meetings Act. Today, you guys want to sit there and go back and do a discussion, but you guys don't know. You guys think we're stupid. Maybe you think the public's stupid. I'm not. You went, you discussed the budget, and you guys put on a show that you so care about the budget, but you guys don't. I sat there and went on the agenda today. You said it was publicized. He came back and he says it wasn't publicized. So now you guys approved the budget. Nobody knows nothing. There's the bids for Dell for $100,000 on the budget. Was there any bids for that? Or you guys are well connected with somebody? And you guys sit there and say, Alexa, wherever you guys sit there and approve, you're approving over $500,000, millions of dollars without the public even knowing what's going on. Every time you're supposed to put exactly what's getting approved, what the amount is on the agenda. But you guys don't do that. You guys hide it from the public, okay? And you guys sit there, you want to silence people. You get the superintendent speaking for you, Ken. It's kind of a shame. You don't know how to speak. You were supposed to give the instructions, and you're supposed to give the instructions of the Open Meetings Act, not some propaganda because the superintendent gets butthurt. It is what it is. Under the Michigan MCL ruling or the Open Meetings Act, can you please tell me what orders you guys follow, or you guys want to have your own Open Meetings Act? This is not about you. This is what you have to follow. We have to follow the Open Meetings Act. No problem. You cannot put your own rules, Mr. Superintendent. You don't like your job? Resign. Simple. You don't want to come here? Tell Mr. K you don't want to come. Don't speak for him. He's supposed to address the public. He's the chair. He's in charge of the meeting. He's the president of the meeting. You're a superintendent taking care of our kids. That's your job. Your job is not to address the public and tell the public what you really is on your mind. You can come over here and speak over here for 3 minutes like everybody else and be recognized. When you're recognized, that means I'm recognized. You're not recognized. You can't tell me how to speak. When my 3 minutes are up, I sit down and, hey, it is what it is. Beep.
Next speaker is David Lux.
Good evening. I attended my first CVS board meeting on September 11th of 23. Imagine my dismay upon discovering that during the previous meeting, the board walked out on a 14-year-old girl who was not only exercising her First Amendment right, but also actively participating in our political process. It seems apparent that the board only welcomes participation from those whom they agree with. This incident calls to mind a quote from Plato. One of the penalties for refusing to participate in politics is that you end up being governed by your inferiors. Plato's insight is strikingly relevant here. I've wanted to speak for a while, but yet I confessed harboring significant reservations. For example, might one of the board members retaliate by sending a disparaging letter to the Department of Justice, my employer, my pastor? This board has engaged in such actions before, albeit not with any current members that we're aware of, but we might not be. Recently, I attended a meeting where Melody Perrin eloquently addressed the issue of bullying. How many of you felt uncomfortable during her speech? Perhaps the emotion was unfamiliar to you. It was shame. This feeling that you experienced was probably experienced by all but one of you. It seems that more effort is devoted to managing the First Amendment than addressing the concerns of taxpayers. Why attempt to regulate the First Amendment? Simply put, to silence truths that are unpalatable to you. Precisely what the First Amendment is designed to protect. Considering the multitude of advanced degrees present in this room, one would expect a deeper understanding of such fundamental principles. If you find the current form of the First Amendment objectionable, you're free to work towards its amendment. However, until such a change is effected, desist from infringing upon our rights to petition our redress of grievances. Since I had began attending these meetings last October, I've arrived at a definitive conclusion regarding the school board. All of you have clearly overstayed your welcome, and it's imperative that you make way for fresh perspectives.
Amen.
Thank you for your comments. Next speaker is Gloria Paul.
My name is Delora Paul. I live in Clinton Township. I live in the Clinton Valley School District, and I have been coming to these meetings on a regular basis because I'm angry. I am not angry at the board. I am very proud of Chippewa Valley School District. I am very proud of Chippewa Valley School Board. And when I come to these meetings, I see nothing but good things happening. Last time I came, hundreds of students were involved in Science Olympics and got awards. I never hear that from people who don't even live in the school district coming here and complaining about it. And that irritates me. They don't even live in the school district. They have absolutely no vested interest in this school district, and they come here complaining and denigrating and defaming my community and my school district, and I do not appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Next speaker is Walt.
Well, the rules don't apply to her.